Hello, welcome to this video. 2 days ago, I put out a video that was called Every Musician Should Watch This Video. And I talked about what I saw as the problems that exist for musicians trying to work out a way of expressing themselves in the modern music world. And I explored the idea that I think there's a trap because many musicians are acting like the music industry still exists as it did 30 years ago, but it doesn't. And so the goals they put in their mind is to try and do gigs, make albums and put those out. And they believe if they do that old thing that people used to do, then it was somehow magic, some sort of success. But of course, those products that used to be important are no longer important. And so you need to re-gauge your view and put at the center of what you're trying to do something else. And I suggested it should be Patreon, YouTube and Bandcamp, with Instagram, Facebook and TikTok backing it up for just marketing purposes. And I opened up the idea. There was a lot I wanted to say that I didn't want to say. This week, because I've been doing stuff like that last week, the views have dropped down. So I've now gone back to making popularist videos where I just go ranting about how bad everything is. And I've just done one of those, which I did enjoy actually. But on the video on Tuesday, I said there would be a part 2. And this is the part 2. And I think this video will be called, If the Music Industry is Really Dead, What Do I Plan to Do About It? That's what I'm going to be talking about on here. So I'm sat here and behind me you can see I've collected some of my drum kits together. The evidence of my life as a rock and roll drummer. That's what I've done. Started playing the drums in 1980, over 40 years ago. And that has been my whole life. I'm sat here, I've got my drum kit over here. I've got 3 drum kits behind me. At one point, I owned 7 drum kits. Can you believe it? That has been my life. These things are there behind me, standing there like these sort of drum monoliths from 2001. Or the elders. They're like the drum elders, aren't they, in the background? My spiritual masters overseeing my destiny. And I love them very much. I do love you, drums. You know, when I was a kid and I didn't have a drum kit, I would go and buy a magazine and I would stare at Simon Phillips sat resplendent behind his incredibly huge Tama kit, Tama Star Classic kit, and I ended up having one. That's the one back here. I am endorsed to these beauties. Look at this. I am endorsed to these. British Drum Company. You know me. I like the English aesthetic. There's only one company I can play for, and look at that. That's not a wrap. That is the actual wood. This is a beautiful. You want to see what an expensive, beautiful drum sounds like? We can hear it just by me talking because of the resonance. Right, beautiful. A little bit out of tune though, I need to tune it. Few resonant frequencies fly by. This has been my life, you know. I don't want to say goodbye to rock and roll. I don't want to say goodbye to drumming. But if you want to know what I've decided, the big announcement on this video is I've decided to do it. I'm stopping. I am not going to stop drumming. I hope to drum more. I hope to do more creative stuff. But what I am saying goodbye to is being in bands. I was currently, at the moment, up until a few days ago, I was in 1, 2, 3, I think I was in 5 bands. Some of these are like session-y bands I'm just picking up to do one tour. So other bands I've been working on for a long time. Now, my decision to stop being in bands in this way, I'm still open to being in bands, but not the bands that are following this old, redundant way of doing things. Now, I have to counter this, to be honest, and say this decision wasn't made solely because of my beliefs about the music industry. I have had personal issues. The trouble in bands is that it's different people, and sometimes you have different points of view, and sometimes it gets to a point where those different points of view just hard to get over. And I've spent a whole lifetime being in bands and seeing them usually collapse in the long run because of difference of opinion. When everyone's pointing in the same direction, or they got the same worldview, or same whatever, it's great. But then things can emerge, and they can just emerge out of nowhere. And when they do, I have spent too much of my life trying to fight against this and spending 2 years until you realise the thing's hopeless and you move on. And to be honest, I'm tired of that as well. I'm tired of being in bands. I'm tired of having to find gigs to go to gigs. I'm tired of the lack of money, and you see the sort of drain of the music industry collapses around you, and you see the fee become less and less. You see a certain gig as being, well, 20 years ago I was getting that amount of money, and even though I'm older and wiser and more experienced, and now it's a quarter of that. I'm tired of that. But what I'm really tired of is the way, the mindset of musicians, right? We're at the arse end of rock. That's where we're at now. The thing is writhing and dying away. And at a certain point, it will be gone. And most of the values that we hold will be gone and forgotten. We won't even know about them. Certain things will live on, but there will be like a museum piece that just exists there. That is where we're heading. Now, when I look at that, that makes me upset, because I do love these. I love them. All right. And I still want to play them. All right. But when I started playing the drums, if you wanted to write a song, you needed a drummer, because you needed some drums on that song. And that was it. The drum machine had just come out. But once the drum machines come out, then people didn't need drummers for that. But they still wanted drummers in real life. They still wanted them on gigs, and they still wanted them on records. And that's slowly been replaced now. Most bands that you see, no one's playing. Even live, they're just miming along to a load of crud. So this has now become a luxury. It's a thing that people do as a pastime. The drum industry, which is now shrunk, right? And people aren't selling anywhere like the numbers of drums they used to do. Right, but that's people who are doing it for a hobby, and there's a whole industry around that. Okay, I know that, and so it's quite upsetting to get to spend your whole life doing something, but it's happened to other people. Or think about all those people that used to go fishing for kippers in the 1930s, when everybody in the UK ate a kipper for breakfast, and then suddenly they all decided to stop eating kippers for breakfast, and with that, the whole of that industry collapsed. Whole seaside towns over. The industry's gone. Everyone's scrambling on, what do we want to do now? This is what's going to happen with rock music. I do apologise. Now, is this all negative? No, because I'm going to try and elucidate it on this video. So my plan, what I have decided, and it's happened very quickly, but I think, I've been forced to look at my situation, and after a good hard think, I've realised that most of the bands I'm in are getting pulled down by a certain attitude. So the attitude would be this. Right, now we're not talking about covers bands, we're talking about originals bands. All right, so an originals band, right, their duty is to get some material together. All right, so you need to write some material. Now the problem with that is that material that's good, when it gets written, it happens organically. But so many people want it to happen that they all go, right, get in the room, write some songs. And so a band will go into a room and they'll start writing some songs. Once they've written, say, 8 or 9, 10 songs, maybe, not even that, they'll decide to do a gig. Because what they want to do is be on stage gigging. The songs are just there to get on stage and gig. That's not the way to do it. All right? So then they start booking gigs. And there isn't a market for the band. They can't sell tickets. And so they end up doing gigs for next to nothing. If you have a little bit of legacy about you, which I do from playing the progressive rock bands, you might be able to get your expenses paid. So the next thing, you find yourself turning up in a rehearsal room, rehearsing for 2 days, right? There's no long tours, so you're going to have to rehearse up something. In the old days, you'd rehearse something up, then you go out and do 10 dates. So it's worth putting 2 days aside for those 10 dates. But now, we're literally rehearsing 1, 2, maybe 3 days for one gig that doesn't pay. And then everybody has to get in there, jump in their cars, get all their gear, tear everything down. All my drums that were set up, mic'd up, ready, they have to be torn down. I have to get my drum tech in so we can tune it all up and look after it, because I'm a spoiled little drummer that can't do that all for myself anymore. Because in the old days, I used to do decent gigs where I had a tech, and I'm not going to not have a tech. Because I get panicky without a tech. What if this happens? I need someone thinking for me. So I have to pay a tech. I have to pay the petrol. Or you go down there, you come home, you realise you're actually out of pocket. And also, you couldn't do any proper work. I couldn't teach drums. I couldn't do YouTube videos. I'm sat here today doing industrial YouTubeage. I'm sat here because a whole bunch of crap has come up. And now I am behind on my videos. I got a video coming out this evening, and then there's nothing tomorrow, and so I have filmed. I've just done tomorrow's, and then this will be on Thursday. I'm going to try and get one in on Friday tomorrow, and I might just then what am I going to do about the weekend? This is what is stressing me out, and every time I have a gig, right, and I have to rehearse or travel or learn something or work on that, this stops and suddenly I'm behind schedule. If I start to miss stuff on YouTube, the intensity, plus my intention is I want my channel to be regular. I want people to get into the habit of watching it and going, I like Andy's channel. He always talks about interesting things. And I've been I've worked very hard, and I've been very lucky that I can talk about all manner of stuff on my channel. I can talk about non-musical stuff if I want. People look forward to my, assessment of crisps and moustaches. And I could talk about whatever I want in the long run. I just want this to be my creative place. And then the light bulb moment comes on. I realise I'm in the creative place right now. I don't need to join a band. I don't need to rehearse up stuff, and get in the way of my life. I don't need to drive halfway around the country to play to 30 people in a room who are all bloody over 50. I don't need to do any of that. And worst of all, or best of all, depending on which side you're on, I don't have to write the music that conforms to whatever this straitjacket is of this imaginary music industry, because it's not even there anymore. And the big quandary I have had for over 20 years is I'm a huge progressive rock fan, and I'm interested in the progressive aspects of music, right? I want to be in a situation where I can do the most weirdest stuff I can imagine. But the one thing I don't like, I like most music. I like funk, I like fusion, I like out there progressive rock. I like rap and hip hop. I don't mind dance music. I love bits of reggae, ska. I love all sorts of music. But I tell you what I don't like is snoozeworthy, middle-of-the-road prog, right? And there is a huge aspect of the modern progressive rock scene, which I don't even think is prog. It's this sort of sub-post-Pink Floyd, Dire Straitsy, stuff. And I'm sure people who watch this channel, I'm sure you like this stuff, Marillion and all this type of stuff. And I know I have been sarcastic about it for the last 3 or 4 years on this channel, and you've been entertained by but I've got to be honest, I really don't like it. I do not see myself as a middle-of-the-road musician. I never did. The thing that got me fired up about music was that it was music that was on the edge. And I still want to do that. And so I am in a situation where my YouTube, right, which is the thing I now do, it's the main thing I do, as well as teaching drums and stuff like that. My YouTube, right, gives me a platform where I can come here and I can improvise a little composition for 2 metal posts. That's way out. Last week, I did a composition that was free improvised, and it contained no harmony or no rhythm. And I put that track out there, and it was watched by thousands of people. This way out avant-garde stuff was watched by thousands of people. And I've had the realization that the avant-garde, which I've studied quite a lot, and my background is fine art, and so these sort of artistic ideas like conceptualism, post-structuralism, all these things that I was trained in, which I've applied to this YouTube, they can actually be explored here. And I can get into the avant-garde. It's not even the avant-garde. These are principles in music which people aren't aware of. I want to be able to explore chants. I want to explore fake structures. I want to look into the aspects of harmony. Why does harmony work like this? What happens if you take this out of music? What happens if you take that out of music? I want to explore that on this channel, and I think there's an interest there for it. I can push the boat out, have an audience that are interested in it, and we can go on a journey. Or I can go to that rehearsal room and learn a number of songs which are very high quality and are good, and by competent musicians that are great, but are not floating my boat because I'm interested in something else, and I always have been. And so a big decision has been made that I have decided, and I have done it. I am not coming in here saying I'm going to do it. All the parties have been told. I have left every single band that I am in. The only one that I haven't left is Law of Three, and the reason is because Law of Three has no intention of becoming a gigging band and going away doing that type of stuff. If in the future, if we become so successful that somebody rings up and says, we will actually pay you a fee to go and play somewhere, of course we will do that. But the band has to get to that certain point. But I do believe Law of Three is exploring the nether regions, at least. There's something exciting about that band. The musicians are virtuosos, and they're very interested in trying to do something new. The other bands I'm doing, I feel it's just become so difficult, and I'm finding I'm in a situation where I just want to come in here and do some creative music. And so I sit down, start doing that, and then it doesn't apply to any of the bands I'm in. I'm going, what am I writing here? Because my inner soul wants to explore. I don't want to do new stuff. That's not what fires me up. What fires me up is me personally exploring something new. And the more I do this and the deeper I get into my own compositions, the more I'm motivated to just explore different things. So, for example, as soon as this happened, I hooked up with my mate, and we started working on some sort of, songy acoustic guitar type stuff, straight down the line, because I never do that, and that was interesting. But I promise you, if I do that and everybody loves it, and then that becomes the band I'm in doing that, then within 6 months' time, I'll be bored. And this has always been my problem. This is why I never made it in the music industry, because as soon as I felt that I nailed something, explored something new for me, I was bored and I had to find something else to do. My creative itch was very strong and very specific. And I really had to adjust to that. And I wish someone could have come along and explained this to me when I was younger. Because every time I got into a situation where I was starting to build in that world, by the time I got to a point where you could see it going to another level, I was bored and I wanted something else. Now, this is why I tell you that at some points I made hip hop, some points I made dance music. I played on the blues scene. I played on the sort of the big rock god scene with Rock Plant. I've played on the progressive rock scene. I've done jazz. I've played in reggae bands. I've played in covers bands doing top 40 stuff. I've even played Bhangra doing sort of English Indian music based upon Bollywood film themes. If you know anything about Bhangra, I was in quite a well-known Bhangra band 30 odd years ago. So I've done all these different things, and when I'm at the beginning of a project, I enjoy it. Once it's established, I need to break the rules and do something else. And I realise this is a real issue. And if I want some sort of personal happiness, I am actually in a very lucky position having this YouTube, because I think my creativity over the last few years has moved on to this YouTube. And I find myself looking at this situation that I've created here. So I've got a camera, I've got you watching. We talk about music, we talk about philosophy. There's comedy elements in here, right? I've got a studio now, all my stuff's set up and record. I can literally come in here and I could turn around to you guys and say, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? What should I do? Shall we play some Led Zepp songs? See what that goes. Who should we play a Led Zepp song with? I know a great guitarist. Hello there, do you want to come and play Led Zepp songs? Is it for a band? No, it's not for a band. No. What's it for gigs? No. You're just going to come over here and we're just going to have some fun jamming on some Led Zepp songs. Don't have to get it right. The audience will enjoy it if we cock it up. They love it when you go wrong, my lot. Yeah, come on over. It's just not... I know it sounds like fun, but it's not fun, because this will be seen by more people than if we spent 3 days in the rehearsal room trying to get these Led Zeppelin songs perfect and then booked some pub to play to 20 people that wouldn't be impressed because they didn't want to see it in the first place. Because in the town we live, there's only a certain amount of Led Zeppelin fans, even Led Zeppelin fans. So if you want to learn some King Crimson stuff, we don't stand a chance. And if we want to just do some free improvisation, nobody will be interested. But I'd be very lucky. I've established a YouTube where my audience are bloody brilliant and they love all this stuff. So when you come over, have a cup of coffee, we'll get some sausage rolls in. We'll have a jam, we'll have a play, we'll have a chat, I'll edit it into some video and we'll put it out there and see if they like it. You never know, it might be a massive success, but if it's not, it doesn't matter because I can do what I want on my channel. Doesn't nobody see that this is the idea, the ideal and the idea that we should all be moving towards? Bands, waste of time. Making albums, waste of time. Right, go to music colleges to learn how the music industry worked 30 years ago, waste of time. Right, the whole thing, if you were doing what you think was the music industry, and that even means playing guitar or drums, because it's gone. The thing is gone. And it's not a bad thing because the internet and digital technologies and all this stuff that I'm surrounded by enables you to do something even better. We are on the cusp musically of something even better. So when you actually look at it, if you say, well, has the quality of playing gone down? No, the virtuosity level has gone up. Well, has the democratization gone down? No, anybody can get a track out there now. Well, has the marketing opportunity, the record companies, has that gone down? No, you can market yourself. This is an incredible thing, but with great power comes great danger, and you have to be able to focus and see your way through it. Right now, I many years ago realized I wasn't going to do anything else but music. That is my curse. I've done it my whole life. And in my middle-aged years, recently got into a situation where I was in an existential threat. My very existence was under threat. And I've had to find a way through it. And I never thought it would be online through YouTube and stuff like that. But I'm just about holding on, but I'm getting there, and it's very inspiring. And because I've always had this philosophical view of music, because I've always analysed it, because I've always taught it, and so I was always chopping something up. I would always say, right, that band got a record deal, and I've just got a record deal. What was the thing that enabled us to get a record deal? And I would try and step back and analyse it. I was trying to analyse and get hold of it. And the way I would do that would be by throwing in contrarian views and seeing how they bounce, questioning the very essence of what we're trying to do. I've spent the last 30 years of that, and if I could extract some truth out, then I could go and tell my students it. And if you could tell, because the most important thing educationally you can do is not like teach people how to play scales or chords or tell them how royalties works or any of that stuff. It's to tell them a fundamental principle that they can hold on to. And once they've got that, when that situation comes along in their life and they meet it, they will know it. They will go, well, I know about this. I am ready for it. I am ready to make the right decision in the moment at the right time. Because what being a creative person is, and this is the real bit of truth on this video, is to learn how to become a resource in the moment, an aesthetic resource in the moment, a musical resource in the moment. That's what you should be. If you're a musician, you have to respond right now. You know that Eminem song where he goes, you own it, you own it. And what's it called? I can't remember, but it's about this. This is rubbish. See, I'm never prepared. I'm just making up. You make it as you go along. I think it's called One in a Million. Oh, I can't remember what it's called. If I've got any internet here, can I have a look on here? Because I would love to. Oh, it's not going to work. See, I've just had an idea, you see, and this is the thing. Oh, it's all gone gobbledygook now, Andy. You've lost it. You've lost it. Was surfing the wave of this, and as I was getting it, had that bit of truth in my hands. There is a song by Eminem. I know you're all shouting it at me, and it's about how you get one chance and you can't blow that chance. And when it comes along, you have to grab it there and then. No preparation will get you ready for it. You have to do it there and then. You can't put it off. You can't do it later on. You know the song I mean, right? That is fundamentally what an artist does. They have to respond in the moment. They can't respond in the future or the past. And when you understand what art is, you understand it is the conjunction of this moment in time. It is about being in the now and responding in the now, right? And that aspect of the artist is what you have to respect in yourself. And that's what you have to nurture, is your ability to respond in the moment. And a lot of the truths that are taught about the music industry were extracted 30 years ago when people were looking. I'll give you an example. This is something I used to teach about the music industry in the old days. You've got to try and get the attention of a record company in the old days. That's what you would have to do. So you'd have a demo, right? You don't need a video, you don't need any photos. The song, this is going right back. The song was what's going to give you a demo. They're going to sign you on the song, right? So I can remember a manager in the old days going, he said to me, he said, you want to know what my method is for getting a band signed? I said, what is it? He says, well, I get a band I don't want signed, but are good. So I'll find some band out there that are good. And I get a CD, back when they used to go and see an A&R with a CD. And he says, I put the track on, the track I don't want signed. And then the band I do want signed, I put after. So I walk into the office and I put the CD in. And the CD starts up and they're talking about, yeah, it's pretty good, this is, yeah. Got a few bands like this already, yeah. Have a listen to the chorus. Yeah, strong chorus. I've been there myself. They like it. Yeah, it's really good, this is. They're not going to sign it. And you know that. This guy knows that. So it goes to that track and then he would deliberately start talking about the band. Yeah, the band that he doesn't want signed, like he does want it signed. Yeah, well, what are you thinking of signing? I don't know, we've got quite a few things. And then the band he does want signed, it starts up. He's talking over it. And the A&R goes, well, what's this song? And then he would reach over and switch it off and go, oh, that's for somebody else. Who's that for then? It's for Sony. We've got that one in the bag. So are Sony interested in that? Oh, yeah, they're interested in that, yeah. You know what they're offering? Oh, they're offering 150 grand. Really? Oh, I think we could go to 200. There we was in. Right, that was the method he would do. Now, that shows you how the music industry used to work. Now, you could transfer that into, you know, a band now being on the internet and trying to get their stuff across. You could start to see how this works. And so this is why they put, you know, songs into films, because someone's watching the film, they enjoy it, then the song comes on and it slips under the net. They're not judging it. They go, I really like this film, it's really brilliant. This song's really nice, I like this. What is this song? And then they're in, you see. This is how the music industry works. Anyway, I noticed that if you were a band and you work really hard and you write Stairway to Heaven, and then you go, this is the best song ever written, Stairway to Heaven. We've written Stairway to Heaven. And you take that to the record company and you play it to them, their attention span is too short for Stairway to Heaven to work. It's never going to work. You have to have already bought into the band to sit there and go, right, I'm going to have a listen to Stairway to Heaven. It's one of the best songs ever made. Right, put it on, yeah. Oh, that's what you have to do, right? So what you need is a song that impresses people in about 3 seconds. And this isn't even vocal hooks. It's usually a riff and a groove, right? So this would be an example of it. At that point, you go, oh, this is cool, right? That is how you get a deal. You have to write a song like that. Now, how does a band write a song like that? What they do is they go into a room and they write 50 songs. It takes them 2 years to do it. They write 50 songs, and then somebody outside who knows what they're talking about it, they sit back and they go, right, you've written some brilliant song, but the one that just blows everybody away straight off is that one. And the band will usually go, God, that took us about 2 seconds to go. How do you write it? I know we just been playing loads and loads, and we built up this great chemistry with each other, and we knew how to respond to what everyone else did. And I just picked up the guitar, started on this riff. The riff was really cool. The drums came in. Every song, if you listen, which is one of these songs, has riff, drums come in, full out. drop it down, put a verse in. That verse doesn't matter. And then when you come to the chorus, make sure there's a vocal hook there that will give it justice. You can't have two hooks at the same time as well. That's the other rule. There are these rules that you can follow, and you can still follow them now. So you give them that. And what happens is that they listen to that song. That's the first song you take to the record company and go, oh, yeah, I'm feeling this. That's what they always say. I'm feeling this. They don't say I like it. I'm feeling this. They were feeling it when it first came in, right? Listen to massive songs when they first emerged. Listen to how they work, right? So what they do then is they go, I like this, but is it a fluke? Give it to me again. That's the second track. So they go, right, here's the second track. You'll need 3 tracks to get a deal in the old days. Play on the second track. It does what the first track does, but even harder, right? So your first song that you're going to play is Whole Lot of Love. You've been cool. The vocal comes in. Led Zeppelin would always doing a bit. I'll take you back to school and way down the side. And then, but that, oh, I'm in now. Give it to me again. And you get Immigrant Song. And you're in. Oh, this is even heavier. This is even better. You see, Whole Lot of Love, Immigrant Song, Led Zepp 2, Led Zepp 3. And then you go, I love this band. They're amazing. What else have you got? Well, you got this track, Stairway to Heaven. Oh, put it on then. And at that point, the person's going, I'm going to sit and listen to this because I've got into them. Though that 3-song trick is what we used to teach. It's what I used to teach. It was a principle of the truth. It would give a band a structure. They would know what they're working towards. And if I was talking to a band nowadays and they were trying to establish themselves, the trouble is it's a little bit different online. So these things don't quite apply. I think you would have to get yourself, in the old days, you had to get yourself to a point where you were talking to a record company. And I used to say to my students, if you're talking to someone who's had a load of success, try and find out how they got to the record company, because they will always tell you this. They will say, I was working with a mate, we were working on some songs, we'd try these different ideas out, we're doing this. And yeah, we'd send some stuff to a record company and nothing, we weren't getting anywhere. Then we sent this one track, and as soon as they heard that, they loved it. And they will tell you that story. And what nobody asks was, how are you sending stuff to the record company? Oh, well, my uncle knows them. They don't tell you that. How come your uncle knows them? Oh, I went to private school. And my mate's dad owns a record company. I once went on a forum and took my students to it, and there was a whole bunch of people who had hit records, and they were asking them all these questions about the industry. And when they came out, they would say, "Oh, that's really good. I can't believe they did that." And and I said, "Yeah, but how did they get the stuff to the record company?" I said, have you got contact in a record company? And they go, no. Have you got a number? No. Would you know how to do that? No. Would you know how to write it off or even write a letter to get to the record company? No. Wouldn't know it. You don't know, haven't got these contacts, have you? Look them up on Google. We were looking these artists up and everyone had gone to private school. And I said to my students, if you go on Google and you look somebody up and it's got the name of their school and you can click on the school and see all the famous people that went to that school, they're not going to the same sort of school as you. And my students would be horrified to discover that this was the way the world worked. They would be horrified by it. This is still going on now. The powers that be can ease their way. This is another video. Anyway, the point I'm making is I spent 30 years teaching this stuff. I understood, and I would throw in contrarian ideas that upset people. So looking at someone's family contacts is an interesting way of analysing artists. It's quite interesting. If you were to take, say, Ed Sheeran, Sam Smith, that bloke from One Direction, Harry Styles, if you start going through some of the big artists, rather than judging them in the way that the media tells you to judge them, in terms of identity politics or how the award ceremonies or fashion, all these things that we are trained to look at them, actually look at their family backgrounds and see how many of them came from poor backgrounds. And in the case of Sam Smith and Harry Styles, they didn't come from poor backgrounds. I'm not saying they came from millionaire backgrounds, but pretty much. Taylor Swift, when she got signed, her dad bought the label that she was signed to. this is I've gone off on a subject here. It's very difficult. It's very difficult. If I was watching this video now and I was watching me talk, I would go, yeah, I would say to myself, but look at that guy. He's sat there telling you how to do it all, but look at the studio he's sat in. Look at all his drums around him. You're not in a position like that. You haven't got a great big studio like this. Anyone who's watched the channel know that I didn't even have an iPhone when I started. I was filming this on an old video camera that was awful, with no lights in the room. And I've worked and worked to get to this point. And I have had to work outside it. I was never... although I didn't come from a poor family, and my dad bought me a drum kit. He bought my drums for me, and when I got to a certain age, he bought me a pretty decent drum kit. He got made redundant. He got a payout, and he said, "I will buy you a nice drum kit." And that was my first professional drum kit, a Premier APK, one of the top range, but it was pretty good. And I eternally thankful for him for doing that, But and they drove me to gigs and all that type of stuff. This is the stuff nobody talks about. I want to talk about it on this channel. I've got so much to say and I've got so much to do. And I think, me at my age, turning up to rehearsals and trying to book gigs in. I mean, if I was getting paid a load of money, I'd probably still be doing it, but I'm not. And I don't think anybody is. Listen, there is so much to talk about. There is so many myths to bust, right? The music industry is all smoke and mirrors. And if you really want to understand how it works, and some of you who are not musicians but want to understand how the music industry works, if you really want to understand your favourite bands like Genesis or Pink Floyd, or Led Zeppelin or Joy Division or The Cure or whatever it is that you love, I'm realising as I'm talking to you now, there is a whole other way that we could be exploring those bands by studying them at certain points, with certain points in mind. That's a very interesting. It's what I'm trying to do on here. I'm trying to tell the truth. This is why sometimes I get in trouble. It's because I try and tell the truth on this channel, and I'm trying to structure it where I can go on here and do the most successful videos on this channel are the negative ones that have that I call them comedy videos. It's like I come on here and do sort of comedy things where I just rant and say how terrible everything is. And they're the ones who do really well. And that is what supports the channel. I think I've got to the end of this video. Anyway, this is what it is. It will say big announcement on it. And I'll put the words big announcement because that always works on YouTube. I might just even call this big announcement. I might just call this this video, I have a big announcement. And then I'll put a thumbnail of me looking. Oh, I've got a big announcement. So oh, there's so much to talk about. You're wittering on now. Yeah. So that has been my decision. I'm out. I ain't playing in bands anymore. That's it. I will be doing more music. I will be doing more drumming. I will be reaching a bigger audience. And you know why? Because I'm not going to be playing in bands anymore. Right, it's taken me 3 years to realise this. Doing this channel's taken me 3 years to get... See that face there? That might have to be the face that I use, wouldn't it? Like that. All right, then. If you like this video, put a like on it. If you want to see some more, please subscribe. This video will not do as well as the other videos I do, so please try and support it and, put stuff in the comments. I will read it, with interest. If you've got any questions, I will try and answer it. Let's try and open up these wider areas that are more interesting, and let's use the more popular videos so I can fund myself to be here talking about this. I think we're done. If you want to engage with me even more and support me at the same time, you can become a patron. You can become a free member, which costs you nothing, or you can become a paid member and you'll get a little bit more content there, or quite a lot more actually. But there's still stuff for the free members. If you also want to help me out financially, I have a tip jar down below. If you enjoy this video, I can't even get the word video out to that. I call it a video and then a midio. You know why? It's because I'm on a bloody production line with these videos. Right. I've got a student turning up now. What I'm going to do is I might actually invite him into here to see if he wants to come in, because I like a bit of randomness. So the guy that's coming to see me now, is one of my drum students. Let's see if he can even get in the building on his own. And he has been playing in various metal bands, doing the very thing that I've been describing. And more recently, he's been seeing that this is not working for him. And so I am now guiding him in these lessons towards an approach which is looking at himself as a drummer and trying to become a commercial entity within the world of drumming. Now, I can't do this because I'm 56 years old, but this guy's young and he's a pretty good looking bloke and he looks cool and he's very amenable. He's a good drummer. And so we're really starting to move towards looking at how he can present himself online and create something online. I've seen this happen to so many musicians. And I think if he can rejig his view to not thinking I need to join a rock band and that rock band will pull me through to some sort of success, then he can try and he needs to carve out who he is online, right? If you're not in a position where you need to make money, which is the case with certain people, if you've got a part-time job and you can support yourself, then you can afford to use online just to market yourself. If you want to make money out of online, you still need to start off by marketing yourself, right? So I need to finish up now. I was hoping to I wanted Tom to come in. I was going to try. I saw him walk across here and he's trying to get into the building now. I think I could hear him coming up the stairs. I love chaos. I love a bit of chaos. This is why I didn't want to switch the camera off. Here he is. Good afternoon, Tom.
Good afternoon, Andrew.
I'm doing a YouTube video.
I do apologise for the interruption.
Do you want to come in on the end of it?
I'll come in on the
You
end.
don't mind being seen in public?
I don't mind seeing. I love being seen in public.
I knew. I thought that was the case. So we've got something exciting coming on, viewers, just to finish it off. It'll only be 5 minutes with Tom. Come on, Tom. You come and sit in my chair. Yeah, he's going to join it. He's much younger and better looking than I am. See, told you.
Quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, sit down there. Sit down there, Tom, and I'll come up behind you. Like
Oh
that.
my God, this is terrifying.
I'll come in here like this. So, what I've been talking about on this video is I have decided last week to leave all the bands I'm in. I'm no longer drumming in bands.
All of the above.
Because I can't see any point in it anymore. Does that ring true with you?
Yes.
And you're a
completely.
younger guy, and this is the future of drumming, not me. This is the future of drumming out here, right? So, Tom, you want to be playing the drums, don't you?
Absolutely.
And what sort of band would you like to be in?
Metal band.
You want to be in a metal band, don't you? He's got the beard, he's got the nose thingies going on. He's got the wrong cardigan for this thing. He didn't expect that to happen, didn't he?
It's got a skull on it.
Oh, it's you're
right.
right. So this is the thing. Does this ring true about, like, you know, you're in bands, you're rehearsing, you're going to gigs, and after a while you start to think, I'm banging my head against a brick wall.
Yes, because it doesn't go anywhere.
It doesn't go anywhere.
It just comes to a halt at some point inevitably.
So I think for you, and I was just thinking about you before you came to the lesson, this is what I do, you see. I don't just teach drums. I do teach you the drums, don't I?
Sometimes.
I do teach him some patterns and some rolls. You've got some rolls down.
I've got a few rolls.
Yeah, we've been working on some rolls. But the other thing is, I think that Tom needs to present himself online. If he was to become a famous drummer online, if what you're doing here is there's going to be 3,000 or 4,000 people at least watching this video, is the end of the video. But now you've come on, they're all going to go, oh, there's a young person on. That's
not
exciting.
Your target audience.
Yeah, and I think, who's this young person? Why is his hair so dark? Anyway, the point is that you could have travelled to a gig to play in front of 20 people, but what I'm doing, I'm giving you the opportunity to push yourself now to my audience, to try and make the point that this is where it's at. This is where the music industry is. I'm an old bloke telling it you, but I'm going to give you. So if I want you now to prove that I'm right, and go over to Tom's, where would you want them to go? Instagram, Facebook?
Instagram's the easiest
Instagram.
one,
So I want you to go over and say hello to Tom. Let's try and make YouTube work in another way. You go over, say hello to Tom. He'll chat back to you, and let's get a little bit to try and show this is the machine that works. These are the wheels we need to be turning. Not going in cruddy bands that aren't going to get anywhere with bad material and turning up to gigs that nobody wants to watch and getting some promoter to earning 50 quid because he got 10 bands on and you had to sell 10 tickets. That's what your life has been, isn't it?
Yeah. Consistently for a while, yeah.
It's right, in it. So you sell yourself. I'm going to finish up with there. So you tell them who you are and say whatever you want. I'll just look in the background being proud.
I don't know if that's terrifying or humbling, Andy. I can't quite tell the difference. But I'm Tom. I'm a drummer in various metal bands currently or none in the future. Who knows? My Instagram's Tom Made Hell. It's a ton of drumming photos. You can't miss it. I've been taking lessons from that creepy guy in the background for quite a while. Terrifying. It's near Halloween when this is being recorded as well, so it's perfect timing. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. I wasn't expecting this. I wasn't braced.
Mention your Instagram over and over again so they've got
Tom Made Hell on Instagram. TomMadHell. No spaces.
Tom,
all lowercase.
Go over and see Tom. And if I see him next week, you say, "Oh God, I had a few people come across." Then next time he comes, I'll shoot a little follow-up to this because this has worked really well because I want to show that this is worth more what Tom's doing at the moment in terms of him establishing himself. You're all music fans. He's a great drummer. You can go off and see what he's done, you know, and this is where it's at. We're done. I've said about liking the video and subscribing.
Cool. Can I go home now?
Yeah, we're finished now. I'm going to teach you some drums. Thanks for that, Tom. That was brilliant.
Very welcome.
Nice to have some young people on the channel, isn't it? Young people, the future. This is the future. We'll all be dead soon. This is the future here. You know, when he's a granddad, he'll say, I was on Andy Edwards' YouTube when I was on Andy. You weren't, were you? That was in the old days, wasn't it? When they just had YouTube before it was holograms, wasn't it? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was on it. I can't believe it. Who was Andy Edwards? Then always an old bloke, and he had a YouTube video, and he let me go on. And then I became famous because he about 5 people came on, and one of them was a famous promoter, and he said, "You should come in my band because I like your beard. I like your jumper. I don't care what Andy says. I like your job." I'm just going on now, and I'm finished. See you. Bye.